What's going on there, everyone? Well, this is how you know that the Democrats are they're just suffering right now. Obama, I don't care if you like the nominee, just vote Democrat. That's not really a very positive message when you look at it on its face. But alright, let's get into the story. This is from the Daily Wire. Former President Barack Obama doesn't care if his fellow Democrats like the 2020 candidate. He just wants them to pull the lever for whoever wins the nomination. Which is kind of a dangerous thing, considering you have some fairly socialistic candidates, and they want to destroy our economy with these crazy propositions and proposals. Everybody needs to chill out about the candidates, but gin up about the prospect of rallying behind whoever emerges from this process, Obama told tech leaders during a fundraiser in Silicon Valley on Thursday. There are 16 candidates still running. I think another 2 have dropped out already, so it's in between 14 and 16. Candidates still running for the Democratic nomination, but only 4 are polling in double digits. A bunch are at 1% or even below. But Obama said whoever gets the nod should get the vote. Ugh. That doesn't mean they should get your vote, people. Come on. I mean, think for yourselves, not for what Obama's saying. Even though apparently nowadays Obama's a conservative. Yeah. Yep. I think it's funny. You know, what's his name? Cenk Uygur or something from the Young Turks. Way back in the day when Obama was the president, he said, "Oh, Obama's a conservative," as he wipes grease from his brow. Well, the funny thing is, he got railed against during that. But we saw New York Times articles and a bunch of articles from all over the place right now, left-leaning websites, saying now the same thing. Back then, everyone was outraged. Weird times the Democratic Party's living through right now. There will be differences between the candidates, Obama said, but I want us to make sure that we keep in mind that relative to the ultimate goal, which is to defeat the president and a party that has taken a sharp turn away from a lot of the core traditions and values and institutional comments that built this country. Those differences are relatively minor. We, the Republican Party, have not taken a sharp turn away from core traditions and values. Actually, we are trying to conserve them because, you know, your party, Mr. Obama, has gone so far to the left that they literally are trying to dismantle our Constitution piece by piece. Slowly. Very, very slowly. Come on. Y'all are not the party trying to save traditions and values. At all. The field will narrow, and there's going to be one person, and if it's not your perfect candidate, and there are certain aspects of what they say that you don't agree with, and you don't find them completely inspiring the way you'd like, I don't care, he said. Because the choice is so stark that and the stakes are so high that you cannot afford to be ambivalent in this race. The stakes aren't that high, Mr. Obama. Have you not actually turned off the fake propaganda news and just looked around? The economy's booming. There's jobs everywhere to be had. I mean, really, things are going fairly well for even the average U.S. citizen. Not the wealthy elites and all that. Sure, things are going great for them too, due to deregulation, which is a good thing. Because when everything works out for them, everything trickles down. It's the trickle-down effect. Come on. So Obama is saying that voters should blindly vote for whoever has a D next to their name, whether they like the candidate or not. And that is something that I think is more of a left-wing thing. Let's just vote for whoever has the D beside our name. There are many a times where I've voted for independents and not the Republican that was running because I didn't agree with their policies I mean, their message was practically the same, but their policies were a little bit on the extreme side. I kind of like when they don't run on spending more money, which all of the Democrats are doing. You know, I don't know. Just take a look at the national debt. The ticker keeps on going. It's out of control. It's over $22 trillion. It's intense. It's a problem. And any single one of these Democrats getting in office, I don't know what we're going to do, because they're all proposing these crazy proposals that are trillions and trillions and trillions. 50 trillion here, 20 trillion here, 10 trillion here. Come on, man. Many Democratic voters are bored silly by the current slate of candidates, which has prompted two others, former Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, to enter the race. Last month, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, for instance, drew fewer than 100 people to a South Carolina environmental justice forum. And she's a front runner. Well, it was also an environmental justice forum. And not a lot of people, hate to tell y'all leftist activist types, not a lot of people really want to listen to y'all spout nonsensical BS. You know, it's just the case. People are waking up to propaganda and what it actually is and how much they're actually being fed it. Gallup released a poll last week that had some troubling news for Democrats. Just 66% of the party faithful say they're enthusiastic about the upcoming election. For the Republicans, the number is 65%. This differs from the typical pattern Gallup has seen over the years, whereby those who identify with the political party of the incumbent president have been less enthusiastic about voting than members of the opposing party, Gallup wrote. That's big news. That's big news. Here's what that means. Voters in the party not currently in the White House are usually far more enthusiastic than the incumbent supporters. In 2000, after 8 years of Bill Clinton, Republicans enjoyed a 51% to 39% enthusiasm edge. In 2008, after George Bush's 2 terms, Democrats were up 14 percentage points, 73 to 59. And in 2016, after Barack Obama's terms, the GOP led 8 percentage points, 51 to 43. Those numbers are also important, because that's not what we're seeing right now. The Republicans are 1 percentage point behind the Democrats in enthusiasm, which does not bode well for the Democrats. Obama isn't the only one saying Democrats might need to hold their nose when they vote for the eventual nominee. Joe Biden's wife, who recently had her finger bitten by Joe Biden because he's an insane person, Jill, said in August that her husband might not be the best candidate, but told voters, maybe you have to swallow a little bit. Yucky. And vote for him anyways. I ain't swallowing. That's gross. Ugh. How dare you. Your candidate... How dare you. Sorry. Every time I hear the words, how dare you, I imagine that little Swedish moron. Your candidate might be better on, I don't know, healthcare than Joe is, Jill said on MSNBC. But you've got to look at who's going to win this election. And maybe you have to swallow a little bit and say, okay, I personally like so and so better. But your bottom line has to be that we have to beat Trump. Man, Orange Man bad syndrome's killing y'all. Killing the left. Listen, vote for who you want, first off. Write them in if they're not on the ticket. You know, the Democrats have put up such an awful list of candidates. Sure, there's one or two in there that I personally don't find as, so egregious as the others. But all in all, you got a terrible list of candidates. Half of them, no one even knows who they are. But we can't say too much about that, you know. Barack Obama was a relatively unknown person. And he won 2 terms as president. So I won't dwell on that too much. But the fact is, these people just aren't speaking to the whole of America. Y'all have been pandering to the far left and the activist types for so long already I don't know who else you think you're speaking to. The general public, they're not down with all this crazy spending and socialistic type of proposals. People just don't want that. This is America. You know? Even especially our immigrant community, especially our Hispanic and Latino immigrant community, they don't want these socialistic type of things because, you know what? A lot of them escaped socialism to get here. Come on. During a campaign stop in New Hampshire, she repeated the point. I know not all of you are committed to my husband, and I respect that. But I want you to think about your candidate, his or her electability, and who's going to win this race. So I think if your goal, I know my goal, is to beat Donald Trump, we have to have someone who can beat him, she said. That shouldn't be your only goal. See, that is one of the fundamental flaws that the left is having right now. They have Trump derangement syndrome so bad that it's literally made them delusional to facts. The economy's boom. I mean, things are good. And I always go back to the economy because the economy is one of the most important things when it comes to electing a president or seeing how an incumbent president has been. And our economy is booming. Our economy is booming. I mean, Trump's been doing awesome things. He's done some things that are questionable, but you know, he's a person. He's his own independent person. He thinks the way he thinks. We're not going to agree on everything all the time. I get that. Not a worry in my head. Don't care. I know we're not going to agree because we're different people. We're not sheeple, you know. That's one of the things that scares me about the left is they're so tribalistic. Even if one of the left-wing people say something that's kind of just out of control, like when they all raise their hand to give illegal aliens health care, taxpayer-funded health care, yeah, we don't do that too much on the right here, you know. Whatever happened to being, you know, your own person? That used to be a really good quality, you know. Used to be a really good quality in a person when they could think for themselves. Now it seems if you're not just agreeing like some NPC character and saying Orange Man bad, you're nothing. It doesn't make any sense. And the left, y'all are so ate up with your own internal struggles and problems. This isn't your time. This isn't a good time. People elected Donald Trump to get away from the nonsense political BS, and a lot of people voted on just to see what would happen, which is kind of a scary way to vote, but I get it, I guess. But yeah, and we've seen really good things happen. Stock markets hitting historical highs, and the predictions for 2020 is it's going to get even better. It's going to get even better. You remember when a couple months ago when the left-wing media was trying to stoke fears of a recession? Yeah. So don't listen to these people. Don't listen to the left and all that. Don't listen to Obama. Don't just sit there and bite your tongue and vote for a Democrat just because you want to toe a party line. Sometimes you got to vote for what's working. And right now, with the Trump administration, things are working phenomenally for everybody. Stop being so partisan. Stop thinking so one-sided. I know, I do that too sometimes. But I can also sit back and think, all right, let me try to think about this on a nonpartisan basis. And I can actually sometimes do that. There's certain things that I'm just too partisan on, like abortion and all that. It's like, you're not going to listen. I'm not going to listen to your arguments. I don't like it. But I digress, man. I'm going to start ranting. But I'd love to hear your opinions on this. Whether you think, Democrats are just going to flock to listen to Obama and just vote D. I don't think so. I mean, I really don't. Because it seems like the far left people, they don't even like Obama anymore. He's too conservative for them. So his words don't pull the weight they used to. But we'll see what happens. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. I will catch y'all on the flip side.